Thank you for practicing, and in tonight's practice we are going to be beginning with a restorative heart opener. So just to keep this easy and with our traditional props for our flow class, go ahead and take a blanket if you would, and just roll the blanket up so it's in a nice tight blanket roll. We're just going to use that in place of a really small bolster, and we're going to bring that along the upper back and lay down as we begin to just relax a little bit and begin with a nice soft opener for the heart. So I'm going to bring this right across the upper back. Make sure that wherever you place that support, that if you can picture where your heart resides, it's directly underneath your heart. So that's going to mean that your shoulders will come back slightly. Bring my mic over so you can hear me. Your shoulders are going to come back off of that blanket roll and be dropping down toward the earth. You can bring your arms overhead if that feels like a nice place to open up your shoulders. You can bring them out into a T, or if you prefer, you can just bring them down by your side and let them rest on your belly. I'm going to bring mine up and over. And then just begin to quiet your body, quiet your mind. Just start by dropping into the space of your practice, imagining a peaceful bubble around your mat where you are free to just bring your awareness inward and more toward yourself, and let the rest of the world carry on for the next hour. It'll be there when we come back. But for now, try to stay mindful and keep your gaze on the inner part of you. Feel your breath. Take a nice breath in. Draw it into the lungs. Feel the heart lift and rise toward the sky. Exhale and let it settle down and relax. Again, notice your breath lifting your heart and your chest on the inhale. Exhale and let everything drop down heavily toward the floor. And tonight's practice is going to be a theme of gratitude. Gratitude toward the smallest things in your life. Times when we think about gratitude, we focus on the big things. We focus on our health, our family, our home, our basic needs. But today I want you to think about some of the smaller things. Maybe tiny little things that you think might not matter, but things that once you are aware of and you bring your gratefulness around, you realize how much joy they bring you each and every day. Might be a cup of coffee in the morning. Might be a steaming cup of tea in the late afternoon. Be a new book that you picked up that you're finding particular pleasure in. offering you a respite from the busy thoughts and activities of your life. Maybe it's just a beautiful plant or flower growing in your garden that you've tended. It's thriving, the fruits of your labor. All of these tiny things each and every day add up to a more joyful existence. So think about something in your life, something you might overlook ordinarily that you can bring your gratitude around. Maybe allow yourself a little smile, a smile inside your mouth, as you let your body relax. Let your breath carry you into a deep, soft, gentle opening of your heart. Take 4 more breaths here. Start to bring your arms forward, up, reach your fingers up toward the ceiling. Take a breath in as you reach your arms up and away from your body. And then begin to fold them around your chest. Bringing your hands down and around your shoulders. Hug yourself in. Give yourself a sweet, sweet hug of gratitude for this practice. Slowly bring your arms back around. Let's roll to one side and just lift up so we can release the back from the support underneath. Just push that blanket off to the side. And then let your back come all the way down on the mat. Feeling the earth's gravity connect now and drop it down. Take a breath in, fully inflate your lungs. Breathing in gratitude, exhale. Release everything out. Go ahead and bend your knees and bring your feet to the mat. Hands are on either side of your hips. Take a little pelvic tilt here. Pressing your tailbone up toward the ceiling, feeling your lumbar spine, your lower back, press down into the mat. And then we're going to take the left foot and take that left ankle on top of your right thigh. Left knee is going to press away from your head toward the front of the mat. Feel that left hip start to open up as you're pressing the knee forward. And then as you're ready, bring your right foot off the mat, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. And you're going to pull that right thigh in towards your head as you press your left knee away. So these two directional forces kind of holding your body in the stretch, giving both both directions an equal but different type of opening. Breathe here. Maybe draw that right leg in a little bit closer. If you want, you can either even take your hands around the tops of the shin. Maybe that's too much. If so, then back off. Honor your body. And then release the right foot down. Keep your left leg where it is. Open your arms into a T off the shoulder. And then we're just going to roll over on the right hip, bringing the left foot, guiding it down toward the floor. So you're still opening left hip here, but this is going to bring the sensation in a little different way. As you feel your left gluteal muscle get a stretch, just relax your left leg as much as you can. Let it be soft. Breathe here. 2 more breaths. Very nice. All right, inhale and start to roll back onto your back once again. Take your left foot and place it down on the mat. Right ankle is going to come over on the top of the left thigh. Press your right knee away from your head, so you're pressing it toward the front end of your mat. Take your hands, interlace them behind your left thigh, lift that left foot off the mat, and start to pull in your leg as you press your knee away. Breath here, feeling now the stretch a lot more in the right hip. Keep breathing and relaxing. If anything borders on pain or an acute discomfort, then please back off. Find a more gentle version of this stretch. One more breath here. Nice. Bring the left foot all the way back down. Once again, open your arms into a T and then roll to the left side, bringing your right foot, guiding it down toward the earth. Relax and release through the right hip. Just let the knee drop down. Just let gravity do its work here. You don't have to push or pull. Just feeling the gravitational pull of the earth. Offer the stretch. 2 more full breaths here. Breathing in gratitude, releasing out anything that does not serve. All right, begin to roll back onto your back. Unwind your legs. Bring both feet down on the mat. Lift both feet up. Go ahead and bring your feet up toward the ceiling. We're going to slide our hands up the outside of both legs. Open your knees wide. Come to happy baby as you let your knees drop down towards your armpits. You're going to grasp your legs either at the shin or maybe up at the ankle. Or perhaps you can grab and reach the outside of your feet. Either way, wherever you're grasping, just push down through your spine. Feel the grounding presence of the earth underneath all of the vertebrae. And see if you can relax your hips, let go, and just let those knees drop down in a natural fashion. Deep breath in fills your lungs. Exhale. Let it out. And you can rock back and forth a little bit if you want to create some movements, a little massage on your spine, back and forth. And then eventually just bring your feet together. Let them come back down to the mat. We're going to slowly roll to one side. Help yourself up. And we'll swing around and come to tabletop position. I'm going to change my music up a little bit because this is about to put me to sleep. And we don't need that at this point in the day. So let's come on to tabletop position. I want to make sure their blocks are nearby in case you want to use those. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. Flatten your back out and bring the crown of the head forward. Deep breath in tabletop position. And then we'll start to move and flex the spine a little bit as we inhale. Bring the heart forward. Let your belly drop down. Come to cow tilt. Exhale. Bring your chin to your chest. Back of your heart now lifts up toward the sky. Shoulder blades separating and coming down your sides. Inhale, come back to cow. Exhale, push up to cat. Keep going with this at your own pace. We're going to take 2 or 3 more times through fully. Really enjoy the breath. Enjoy the feeling of using it to refresh and nourish the body. One more time through. On your next inhale, come to a neutral spine. Press back if you would. Come into a long child's pose. Just let your head come all the way down. Take one full breath here. Exhale and release. Inhale, come back to all fours position, tabletop, and we're just going to add on to that with a little bit more movement. So take your next breath in, come into cow. Exhale, press up to cat. Adding on, we're going to inhale. And then exhale, we're going to lower all the way down, coming to the belly. Next inhale, we're going to press up to cobra. Hands are on either side, heart is lifted. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, press ourselves back up to all fours. And then exhale back to child's pose. Once again, keep going. Inhale, take a cow tilt. Exhale to cat. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up, cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up all fours, and then exhale back down to child's pose. Take 2 additional breaths here. Deeply involve those lungs. Think about every single little air sac opening up. Get as much energy as you can from each beautiful breath. From all fours position, come up again, and we're just going to walk the knees backward a little bit further this time. So knees are still going to stay up underneath hips, but we have the arms reaching out forward. So we're going to take the left elbow down underneath the shoulder, and we're going to stretch that right arm out. Really walk your fingers forward, pull that right arm as forward as you can. And when you've reached the edge, bring your forehead down on top of your left arm. Deep breath in, and then as you exhale, let your heart drop down. Let it fall toward the earth in melting heart, Anahatasana.
Keep reaching and feel that stretch all the way from the right fingertips back to your right hip. Heart is dropping down, letting it just flow down toward the earth. One more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale. Slide your right hand back, help yourself back up. We're just going to change sides. So right elbow comes down underneath the shoulder. Left arm stretches and reaches forward. I always say walk those fingers like you're trying to climb up a steep canyon and you're reaching for that next finger hold. And then you'll really feel that stretch under the armpit, even the left ribs, all the way back to the left hip. Take a nice deep breath in and then exhale, melt your heart down. 2 more full breaths here. Lift your head up, slide your left hand back. Bring your hands back up underneath, come to all fours position, tabletop once again. Take 1 cat-cow, drop the belly down, inhale deeply. Exhale back to cat. And then come back to tabletop. All right, so from tabletop position, we're gonna lift the knees up and come into a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, press those hips up nice and high and the thighs are pushing back toward the back of the mat. Lift your heels up, really come up on the balls of your feet and keep your knees a little bit soft on this first time through. We haven't really stretched those legs out yet, so keep your knees soft. Make sure your neck is nice and loose. But keep lifting up as if your navel is trying to reach up and grab and hug your lower back. Nice deep breath here. Exhale. And release. From our downward facing dog, we're going to come forward into a low runner's lunge. So bring that foot forward. My hands are now framing my front foot. My knee is tracking over my ankle. We're going to lengthen through the spine, lift up through the back of the left thigh. Feel that lift coming right from that back thigh. Nice long spine. Look forward. And then we're going to plant the left hand down. Right arm comes into a T as we turn the belly to the right, coming into a lunging twist and eventually lifting the right arm overhead. Feel as if you can almost see the energy coming up and down from the left hand all the way up through the right fingertips. Hold it one more. And then bring the right hand back down on the outside of the foot. We're going to lower that left knee down. Lift up. Bring your hands to the top of your right thigh. Tailbone is reaching down toward the earth. And then lift your arms up. Reach both fingertips up toward the sky. Nice, tall, erect spine. Beautiful posture. Next breath, if you wish, lift up a little higher and then maybe exhale into a slight back bend. Doesn't have to be far, it can just be a little back bend. And then exhale, bring the hands back down to the mat. We're gonna walk the hands backwards, slowly straightening that right leg. Push back through the right hip. Left hip comes forward. This keeps your spine nice and centered in the back. Your hips are now even. Inhale, lift up to fingertips. Exhale and fold. All right. From here, walk the hands forward once again. Hands are going to frame the foot as we lift the left knee back up. We're going to walk those hands around to the left side of the mat. And as we do, pivot on that front foot so that now the feet are parallel to the ends of the mat as we come to a wide leg forward fold. Walk your fingertips forward a few inches. Really lengthen through your spine. This means lifting up through the inner thighs. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, bend your elbows back. Let your head drop down. Release through your neck and fold. Keep lifting up through the inner thighs, though. Don't let that area of the body go loose or limp. All right, we're going to take the left hand right up underneath the head, but we're going to take the right arm this time and slide it over to the left. Right hand is reaching through, reaching toward the left leg. Now maybe you can touch the leg. Maybe you're just reaching toward the leg. Either way, right arm is reaching through and under, and then we're just going to let that right shoulder drop down. So it's almost like a little threading the needle in this very different position, but we're letting the right shoulder relax and just drop down toward the floor. Continue lifting up through those inner thighs. Use that core body. And then slide your right hand back. Right hand comes down to support you underneath. Left arm sweeps up under and reaches over toward your right leg. Let the left shoulder just drop down. Breathe. This is a great stretch for the upper back. Releases the shoulder blades, tension in the neck. And then come back to center. Bring both hands up underneath. Bring your hands to your waist. Harness that core strength and lift yourself all the way up this time. As you come up, open those arms wide. Come to 5-point star. Inhale, lift up through the crown of your head. Feel nice and steady with your feet locked down to the earth. And then inhale, bring both hands up. Now you're becoming like a 3-point star, I suppose. Hands are together. And then exhale, bring them back down. One more time, flip your palms up. Reach the arms up. Bring them together. Exhale, bring them back down. From 5-point star, we're going to transition to warrior 2. So all we're going to do is pivot on both feet slightly so that the left toes point forward, the right toes point directly forward, and then we bend that right knee so that it tracks over the ankle. Hips are now open to the left side of your mat. Breathe here. Drop your left hand to your thigh. Let's lift up and take a little side stretch in warrior 2. Exhale, come back to warrior. Straighten your right leg. We're going to pop that left hip back toward the back of the mat as we reach the right arm forward. Reach it out as far as it'll go, and then eventually bring that right hand down. Either reach for your shin or a block, lifting up into triangle. Beautiful breath as we come into triangle. Feel stable, feel balanced, feel strong. From triangle, we're going to lift right back up again. So use that core to lift up. Bend your knee back into warrior 2. We're going to unwind everything we just did. So pivot on your feet. Come back to 5-point star. One more time. Inhale, arms come up, palms together. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, flip the hands up. Bring the arms together. Exhale, palms down, 5-point star. Hands are going to come to your waist. With control, you're going to bend forward, hinging from your hips. Coming all the way back down, hands underneath your head. Release your head down toward the earth. And then on your next inhalation, walk your hands back around to the front of the mat, bending your front right knee. We're back where we started in low runner's lunge. Slide that right foot back, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, drop your knees down. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Take 2 additional breaths here. Remember the thing that you were grateful for in our earlier moments in the practice, and bring that to mind once again. See if that doesn't bring a smile back to your mouth. All right, come on forward. Come back to hands and knees position, and we're going to press up and back to downward facing dog. Lifting the hips high, keep your knees as soft as they feel. That feels good for you. If you want to straighten your legs a little bit more, perhaps you can. Deep breath here in downward facing dog. And then we'll bring the left foot forward between the hands, coming right into low runner's lunge on this side. Take a moment. Feel your strength lift up through the back of the right thigh, lengthen through your spine. Deep breath in. I am grateful. Grateful for this practice. From this low runner's lunge position, we're going to take the right hand down. Again, it can come to the mat or to a block. Left arm comes out into a T, and then we start to move our belly, rotating it to the left and lifting the arm as we do. Lunging twist. Staying here for 1 breath in this position. Make sure your neck feels good. If you need to look down instead of up or to the side, your neck position is completely your call. And unwind that left hand, bring it back down to the mat, and lower the right knee. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands come to the top of the left thigh. Find your stability. Lengthen your tailbone down toward the earth. Lift up through your head. And then we'll lift both arms up, reaching high with those fingertips. So even though we're reaching up with the arms, try to relax your shoulders. This is a real challenge for most of us. When we're reaching, we want to hunch those shoulders up and really clench the neck. Try to relax your shoulders down even though you're extending your arms as high as you can. 1 more deep breath in, fills your lungs. Exhale if you want to take the back bend. Now's your time. Inhale once again. Exhale, brings your hands back down to the mat. Lift that right leg back up and walk your hands around to the right side of your mat, pivoting on your feet. We've transitioned the foot position once again. So now they're parallel. Walking your fingers forward, lengthen your back. Exhale, bend your elbows backward and fold. Do that little needle threading position once again. So left hand comes right down under your head for support. Right arm is going to slide over, and see if you can reach toward your left leg. Again, maybe you can touch it. Maybe you're just coming toward it. Either way, you're going to drop your right shoulder down. You've got 3 points of support here, so you should be nice and stable. Relax your shoulder, relax your upper back. Inhale in gratitude. Bring your right hand back down. Right hand comes under you for support. Left arm sweeps under, reaches for your right leg, and let that left shoulder relax down. Keep breathing, keep pulling up through those inner thighs. I can't emphasize this enough. Don't let everything hang down and put the strain on your back. Let your core be doing the work here. Bring that left hand back down and under. We're going to bring the hands to our back. Really lift up through that inner groin now, inner thighs. Safely and with control, come all the way up. Open your arms as you arise to the top. Come into star position. Flip your hands up. Bring them up and overhead. Your next inhale. Exhale, separate the arms, palms down. Flip your hands up, reach them, connect your palms. Exhale, back to 5-point star. Moving from star to warrior 2, we're going to bring those right toes up toward the front, left toes pivot, bend into the left knee. We come right into warrior 2. Bring your right hand to your right thigh. Reach that left arm up. Take a nice side stretch in exalted warrior. And exhale back to warrior 2. Straighten the left leg. Pop that right hip backward as you reach the right fingers forward. Reach, reach, reach. And then bring that left hand down toward your ankle, a block, your shin, whatever's there for support. Breathe. Find the ease in this pose. Back off a little bit if you need to. It's okay. It's all for you, remember that. All right, use your strength to lift back up. Dip into that front knee once again. We're back in warrior 2. We're going to unwind everything as we did before. So bring your feet parallel, 5-point star. Flip your palms up. Reach them up for the stretch. Exhale, palms down for star. Flip your hands up. Reach up, connect your palms. Exhale, hands down for star. Bring your hands to your waist. Slowly descend forward and down. Legs are holding you strong, core is engaged, fingers come gently down to the mat. From here, we're simply going to walk the hands around to the front. Come right back into a low runner's lunge where we started. Slide the left foot back, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, knees down. Exhale, back to child's pose. This time, let's bring the arms all the way around the body and just let your head come all the way down. Stay here for 2 more full breaths. What are you grateful for? What little things spark joy in your day? Forward. Come on back up to all fours. Walk your hands all the way backward. Come on up to a kneeling position. If you'd like, you can unroll your blanket and bring it under your knees if kneeling isn't comfortable for you, or if you've got a hard floor underneath. It's always an option. We're just going to take a couple of breaths in camel pose. So in camel, grounding down, starting with the knees. The tops of the feet are also pressing down for support. Bring the energy up the front of the body, all the way up to the shoulders, but then let them relax. Take one breath here with your fingers just reaching down. Feeling steady. And then on the next iteration, we'll start to squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back. So I'm really squeezing it backward, almost pinching them together, trying to bring them toward the center line of the spine. And at the same time I'm doing that, I'm lifting my heart. So this is a really soft, easy, sort of baby camel pose. We're not trying to do anything crazy and arch back up too much. We're just feeling the lift in the spine, or lift in the heart, at the same time that we're squeezing those shoulder blades together. One more breath here. And then on our next breath, lift back up. And then we're going to round forward as we let the hands come down toward the mat. Let your head drop down. Just take a little rounding posture here as we extend the spine forward. Inhale, lift back up. Open the heart, arch up into camel. Exhale, round the back. Let it come forward, head reaches down. One more, inhale, lift up. And exhale, round and come down. All right, check my time here. Okay, we got 15. Let's go ahead and take a couple rounds of cat-cow. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. And then come to a neutral spine. From tabletop position, we're going to take the right foot forward between the hands. Just lift up briefly into a low lunge, but then drop the left heel down. All right, we're going to lift all the way up forward into a warrior one position this time. Arms reaching forward, hips are square to the front. Sometimes that means you got to push that right hip back, bring the left hip forward. Nice open-hearted warrior one. Bring your hands behind the body, interlace your fingers. Just as we did in camel, squeeze those shoulder blades together, lift the heart. Deep inhale here, legs are steady. Exhale with a flat back, fold over your front leg. Just come to a flat back position. We're not going to drop it all the way down. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, come to a flat back, just controlling it as you come down. Inhale up, lost my balance there. And one more time, fold over that front leg. This time you're going to release your hands from behind, bring your hands all the way down to the mat. Right leg comes back, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, both knees come down. Bring the left leg forward between the hands. Lift the right knee up, and we're back in low runners. Drop the right heel, lift up. That same sequence on the other side. Warrior one once again. Hips are forward. You may need to bring your feet a little bit more apart if they need more room to square your hips. Deep breath in, exhale, hands come behind the back once again. Interlace your fingers, press those knuckles down as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale up, exhale, flat back fold. Inhale up. Flat back fold. Keep pressing your fingers away from your head, squeezing your shoulder blades. One more time, fold. Lift back up. This time release your hands on the upswing. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Left leg comes back. One more downward facing dog. And come down to hands and knees. We're just going to roll down to our belly from here. Coming all the way down. Arms are going to come forward. We're going to bring those forearms forward, coming into a Sphinx pose. As you can see, we're doing a lot of heart opening in this practice today. This is part of our gratitude practice. So make sure your hips feel nice and steady. Feet are perhaps a little bit wider than your hips. Press down through the tops of your feet and make sure your legs feel anchored and really solid behind you. Lift up through your heart. Reach the crown of the head upward and forward. Your gaze is 2 or 3 feet in front of your mat. And then if you can, see if you can press your shoulders away from your ears. So it's like you're trying to slide your shoulder blades down your back. Make sure they're not hunching up around your neck, but you're really lifting, helping to strengthen and open. And then breathe. We're going to stay in Sphinx pose for just a few breaths here. What are you grateful for? Each time you bring that to mind, just find something small, maybe even something silly that you think is inconsequential, and realize how much these little things can mean to you every day. Maybe it's a favorite food you've eaten. Maybe it's a pet. So many things can bring us joy. One more breath. And then come on down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to press up and back for a wide-legged child's pose this time. Separating your knees and just letting your chest fall right between your knees. All the way down. Nice soft breaths as we ease ourselves into the end of practice. Maybe that's what you're grateful for, that you made it through. Up to hands and knees. We're going to swing our legs around. And roll all the way back. Oof. There we go. Let's hug the knees into the chest. Let's take a moment in Apanasana to release the lower back. Cross the right thigh over the left. So cross your legs as they're bent. Right thigh crosses over the left thigh. And then we'll take our hands and simply reach down through our shins, find the opposite foot, and we're going to pull the foot in the opposite direction of where it should be. So this is shoelace pose, if you know the pose. Maybe your hands can come all the way down to your feet. And you're just going to find your own variation of this pose. For some of us, it might feel better to hold the legs up. For some, it might feel better to pull those feet toward the buttocks. Try to relax your shoulders even as you're keeping the emphasis on the stretch in the hips. So this is an internal rotation for the hips. We did a lot of hip openers as well in this class. This is a nice way of stretching and counter stretching the opening the hips. I don't know about you, but I can feel it all the way into the lower back as well. This is not a stretch that we typically find ourselves in most of the time, so it may feel pretty deep and intense. Wherever you feel tension, try to breathe into that area. All right, and then we'll slowly let go of the feet. Uncross your legs in whichever way you started. This time let's bring the left thigh over the top of the right. And once again, just bring your hands down. See if you can reach toward your feet. Maybe just your shins. Doesn't matter. Just bring a little pressure through the weight of your arms. Not pulling and not over pulling. Just letting your body guide the way toward what feels right to you. Let go of your feet, uncross everything, maybe rock back and forth. It seems to feel good to me right now. Letting all those juices come back where they need to be. And then we'll bring the feet down. We'll just extend the legs down the mat. And we're going to lay down for a few minutes of Shavasana. And notice how your body feels. Do you feel warm and relaxed? Have you let go of some tension? Gotten those much needed stretches today. Just enjoy your Shavasana. Drop into the stillness and relax. you are ready to reemerge, or if you wish to stay here, it's perfectly fine as well. If you'd like to close practice, ease yourself out of Shavasana. Begin to bend your knees. Draw your knees into your chest. Hug yourself once again in gratitude, offering yourself this time for self-care, for inner nourishment. And then you can begin to roll yourself to one side and roll up. Once you're in a seated position, let's lift the arms in gratitude toward the heavens, and then draw all of that warmth and joy into our heart. The light in me is honored and grateful for the light within you all. Thank you so much. I am grateful for you. Om Shanti and Namaste. Thank you very much. If you're practicing with me live, welcome, welcome. It's a beautiful day here in early September. I'm so excited that it was a little bit cooler today, and that gives everyone a lot to celebrate. If you're watching it later, then hopefully this is at a time that's convenient for you, and I'm always happy to allow these recordings to be shared and used whenever you like. So welcome to practice. We are going to begin restorative this evening, lying down on the mat, and we're going to be propping the legs up on our bolster. So what I have here are two tall blocks, just elevating this bolster support a little bit higher. I'm going to bring my calves up on here. I'm going to scoot my backside as close to that support as I can. And then what I might suggest is to bring a blanket, a folded blanket underneath your head. Now, when I say under the head, I'm not bringing it under my shoulders. I'm just bringing it right behind the head. And the way I have my, this is my yoga blanket, so it's in what's called a quarter fold. So it's about this shape and size. And I'm just going to bring that underneath my head. So a lot of it is going to be off of my body and up beyond my head. But you're just going to, if you have that in place, you can just center the back of your head right on the edge of that blanket. And then, so just settle your back down, make sure that that's comfortable, make sure your legs are comfy. If you don't have the blocks, you can just bring the bolster or some kind of support under your knees. It'll be a similar type of shape. But as far as the blanket underneath the head, we can create what I like to call a head cradle. So with the blanket underneath, take your hands to the outermost corners, and then we'll just take our hands and we're going to start to tightly roll the corners up. So you're going to create a really tight little roll, starting with the corner of each side, until you roll that blanket up as tight as you can all the way up to your head. Sorry, I should have made the point. You want to roll it under, not up. So you're rolling the corners under until the blanket roll comes right up to your head. And the way that's going to end up is it's going to be right behind the ears, and you're going to feel a sensation almost as if you had a giant pair of hands behind your head. And
those hands are cradling your head. So it's just a sensation of a cradle for your head. It's not necessary. You don't have to do this. All of these are just little extras to bring you into a state of relaxation, but it's kind of nice. I love the head cradle and I find it very soothing. So if you're in your initial position, I'm actually going to sit up. So you go ahead and stay where you are because I'm going to sit up and read something to you about restorative yoga. So it's been a while since I brought some of this information out, and I just wanted to have it in front of me so I could share with you. So just to start here, go ahead and relax your body down. Feel the heaviness of your body as it starts to sink down and relax into the mat. Feel the supports underneath your legs. Feel the cradling sensation under your head. And begin to quiet your mind. Breathing in and out. Notice the breath and the sensation of the breath. If thoughts or thought patterns want to enter your mind, don't chastise yourself. Don't feel bad that this happens, but simply acknowledge the thoughts and then allow them to blow away like a puff of cloud. Allow yourself to drop into a sacred space, a space where you don't have to be anywhere else or do anything else, but simply be. In any style of yoga, part of the practice is letting go of the ego, and restorative practice is no different. Yoga teaches patience, devotion, and faith. And when you apply those teachings, both on and beyond the mat, your mind is better able to adjust to the stresses of everyday life. And it's brought into harmony with your body. In restorative yoga, the body and mind are brought into balance. They begin to communicate, to talk to each other. When you practice restorative yoga, you enter a deep state of relaxation. It is here that you let go of those deep holding patterns in your body and find a state of balance that will allow your body to self-heal. Look at this as if you were a flower. You start with good soil, which is your foundation. You add sunshine and water, and the flower opens into a beautiful bloom. You too are like a flower, and you need the right environment to become the best version of yourself. Restorative yoga is that environment.
drop your shoulders down. Relax your body a little fuller. Allow yourself to drop into the depths of your breath and notice each sensation that is occurring throughout your cells, your internal organs, your skin. Feel your whole self in this moment. We'll stay here about 4 or 5 more breaths. We're in no hurry to move. In fact, we want to relish every single moment of this practice. One more breath here. Draw it in fully. Expanding, and then allow it to release all the way out. Very nice. All right, start to bring your knees into your chest. Draw your knees inward. Take your arms and wrap your arms around your knees. Hug your knees in. On your next breath in, perhaps lift your head up, tuck it in towards your knees, roll up into a little ball, and then exhale all the way out. Bring your feet back down on the mat. And then we'll just gently roll to one side or sit up as we take a minute and set up for our next posture. So one of the things to note about a restorative practice is that it takes us a few minutes to get into each pose. And that's not because the poses are difficult. It's because we really want to create the maximum amount of support. The key is to really take your time with the setup, not be in a hurry, not be in a rush. And that way we don't have anything else we have to worry about once we're settling in. So our next posture is going to be a forward folding posture. We're going to use the bolster, or you could use whatever, pillows or cushions you might have. You're going to have a bolster, and what I'm going to suggest is to take the blanket as well. Now, for some of us, it may feel fine to have maybe just a bolster and maybe just a blanket. For others, if forward folding creates any kind of extra strain, you might want to build that support up a little higher. So you could always take a block and lay that on top of the bolster, but we want to have the bolster right on top of our legs. Legs are about hip distance, so they're roughly just coming right straight out from the hip points. And then you're going to have a place where you can fold forward and just release the forehead down. So, take your time, make sure that you have a place that feels comfortable. Once you're in that place, make sure your hips are nice and square. And then you're just going to round your back and bring it forward so that your forehead can come all the way down.
Now I'm going to press that blanket a little bit forward so that my nose doesn't get squished by the blanket and I can still breathe easily. But right between the eyebrows should be resting comfortably on a supported area. And then you're just going to take your arms around the bolster or whatever support you have on your lap. Bring your hands around, draw them forward slightly without any strain on your back or without reaching too far. You just want to kind of pull that bolster in like you're hugging it into your belly. Let your back round, let your neck fall forward. Let your forehead rest comfortably. And if you wish, now you can just let your hands drop down to the side. They can come down on either side of your legs. This is a restorative forward fold, sometimes known as caterpillar pose. We often adopt some of the yin names for these poses in restorative practice. Now begin to deeply allow your breath to travel up and down your back. Soften your back as it rolls up and forward. Feel the grounded nature of your legs and seat. And then try to consciously let go of any muscular engagement in the body. So what we're striving for in restorative practice is to not actively take a shape, but allow the shape to become us. This is where it becomes very difficult at times to let go fully, to relax into the posture. All of these supports that we have to help us, the bolsters, the blankets, all of these different objects that we use are to create the ultimate security for the body. So that the body doesn't have to work to hold itself. Posture, we have the ground and the earth underneath our legs. We have a firm but soft support between our head and the tops of our legs. This allows us to completely let go. So soften your shoulders. Soften your feet. Feel the breath moving evenly and smoothly up and down your back. Slowly allow your weight to simply drop toward the earth. Each time we change position, reconnect with your breath. Notice how your breath is carrying all kinds of signals throughout your body. Offering the ability to relax and release.
might drop down a little more heavily. Let the weight of your body sink further. Stay here probably 4 or 5 more breaths. Let your elbows drop down. Continue to let the weight fall forward and down. Simply sinking into the supports that we have in place. One more breath here. All the way up the spine. Imagine it traveling in and around each of your vertebrae. Rising up and over your head and then down, down toward the front and all the way out. On your next breath in, slowly, very slowly, begin to bring your head off of the blanket support. And think about lifting one vertebra at a time, edging oh so slowly back up. You can keep your eyes closed if you wish, or open them. Either way, come all the way back to a seated position. All right. So, we are going to move now into our next position is going to be a hip opener. And this is a restorative version of bound angle pose or Baddha Konasana. So I'm going to take the 2 blocks that I have and I'm going to create a support for the bolster to come back on those blocks. I'm going to turn it this way. If you don't have blocks with you, if you just want to try your best to create something that will angle up your support. If you need to lay down, what you can do, if you need to lay the bolster or your pillow down, what you can do is just lay it down, and then with your blanket or with a series of pillows, you could create something like this. So as long as you can find a way to maybe angle yourself, it should be fine. But if you have blocks, this is really handy to make your little incline, because it's usually pretty sturdy, which is nice. So we are going to have to use at least one blanket, however, in another place. So what I'm going to ask is that you take a yoga blanket like so, or one that's in this shape, and we're going to do what's called a triple fold. So this is a quarter fold of your blanket, and with it laying long ways, I'm going to fold it long ways once in the middle, and then again in the middle. So I'm creating a long, thin strip of the blanket. It's about 6 inches wide or something like that. All right, so to start out, I'm going to set my seat right in front of this support. So eventually I'm going to be laying all the way back. But before I lay back, I'm going to bring my feet together just as we would in any bound angle, Baddha Konasana.
So bringing the soles of the feet together, I'm going to take that long strip of a blanket. I'm going to lay it right on top of my feet, so it's equally on equal sides. Then I'm going to take my hands, reach under my calves, and to pull the ends of the blanket underneath my calves and back toward the middle. So hopefully you can see what I've done here. I'm creating the actual binding for the bound angle pose, okay? So what this does, when you pull the blanket up and under, and that's where a blanket for some reason works really nice, it just kind of holds its shape, which is great for the pose. So once you have the feet in place, you've got your support to lay back on. I'm going to come back like so. Now, option here, again, you could always bring a pillow underneath the head if you want to bring the head up a little bit higher. Another option, if you have a couple of throw pillows, is to bring them on either side, and you can support underneath your thighs. So sometimes this just helps take a little bit of the intensity off of the hip opening, so you have a little soft for landing place for the thighs. So there's lots of options. That is the beautiful thing about restorative, is that it's just all about creating this custom shape that works for your body. And that's why I offer lots of options, and we take our time making sure that we get to the right spot. All right, so I'm going to lay back here. And just make sure your back feels supported, feels nice. We're going to just let the arms come down off the side. They can come into a T if you like, or they can rest on your belly. The arms really don't come into play that much here. But you just want to feel a nice hip opening. So that one of the other keys about restorative practice is that we're not trying to go to the nth degree, right? We're trying to get to a place where we feel really comfortable and at ease, because the time that we settle into the posture is where the real benefit of this practice comes into play. So if you bring it, you're not supposed to feel any sort of intensity, certainly not any pain. You want to feel as if you're simply at ease and supported in every way. So laying back on this bolster, maybe close your eyes again. First, noticing the soles of your feet, how they are nicely touching each other, connecting the two sides of your body. Feeling your hips get a nice gentle opening as the knees widen, and as gravity very gently opens and draws your knees down. And then let's come back to the breath. The awareness of breath, which is the absolute key to each of these postures, because the breath signals to the body that all is well and it can relax and release. So the beauty of restorative practice is it just allows us to simply relish the idea of doing less. Each day we are so pressed, so driven to do more. Restorative yoga asks us to do less. To
pull back, to find a true sense of ease, to disengage. See if you can soften your body. Notice any areas of activity or tension, any place where you are gripping or holding. Mindfully offer yourself the ability to let go. Being completely supported. You don't have to do anything except relish the peace of your breath. Breathe a little deeper, a little slower, and a little softer. Once again, if there are thoughts that come into your mind, thoughts about the practice, thoughts about your day, just gently blow them away with your next round of breath. Allow them to dissipate, to become transparent. This moment is for simply allowing yourself the time for stillness. Stay here a couple of more minutes. So breathe into your hips, into your lower belly. Relax and soften your knees. Feel as if you are floating. Take 4 more breaths right here. Make them soft and slow. more breath. Feel your body, feel the peace that is starting to take over, and then exhale it out. Beautiful. Slowly bring your hands beside your hips. Begin to lift yourself up off of the bolster. Bring yourself back up to a seated position. Bring your knees together. We'll release the blanket. Just take that off to the side. Go ahead and just sit up. Open your feet about hip distance apart with bent knees. And we're just going to gently take a couple of windshield wiper motions here with the hips. Just feeling a little circulation come back. Back and forth. A couple more times. And then come back to center. All right, so we're going to come into a little spinal twist for our next posture. We're just going to bring a nice bolster down the front of the mat. If you like, you can bring one block, I was going to say, right underneath. Just gives it a little bit of a lift. You don't really have to though. Sometimes I do this without it. So if you don't have blocks, it's fine. You can just bring it down. So what we're going to do is bring that bolster right up to the side of our hip. So our legs are going to be stacked on top of each other to the side. Now here's where it's nice sometimes to take a throw pillow and bring it in between the knees. But before you lay all the way down, bring that into the side, turn and face the bolster. And then just start to bring your body belly down on top of that bolster. So my legs are just kind of curled up, knees are bent. I've got that sweet little pillow in between so my knees don't poke into each other, and you feel the sense of your support and that pillow all the way around. And I'm just going to hug this bolster in. Lay yourself down. Now, if this feels like too much, again, you can always build up the bolster. You can bring something underneath so you're laying up a little bit more. But if it feels okay, just let your belly come right down on that bolster. And you're just going to hug that bolster like it's a friend. So you should feel a little spinal twist. A gentle spinal twist from the mid part of the back on down. If this feels too intense, you can lessen the bend in your knees and bring your knees farther away from your head. So you've always got that option to kind of help out. You can also separate the legs a little bit. They don't have to be completely stacked. Take your time, settle in, make sure that this feels comfortable and soft and supported. As soon as you're there, come back to your breath. Bring your mindful awareness back to the breath. And we won't stay on this side quite so long as we did the others, because we want to change sides here in just a few minutes, but I want you to breathe into your mid and lower back. Soften your shoulders down. Feel yourself curling up to the bolster again, like it's an old friend, or like, it's like one of those stuffed animals that you used to hug when you were a kid. At least I did. I always had my favorite teddy bears and stuffed animals that I would hold on to. You should feel 100% secure and soft and yielding. allows you to completely let go. To experience the joy of doing less. All right, we'll take 4 more breaths on this side. All right, one more. And then on your next in-breath, slide your hands backwards so that you can press down into your palms, lift yourself up. And you can just leave that bolster where it is. You can leave the pillow between your knees. And we'll just simply swap around and go for the other side. So remember, push that bolster right up against to your hip. Turn to face the bolster so your belly down, and then just begin to drape your belly a little at a time. Make sure that that's comfortable on your back, that you're not feeling any pinches or twisting. It's creating discomfort. And then you can just turn your head towards your knees. Let your body relax down once again. Remember that each time we change position, we want to mindfully come back to the breath. It's very easy to let your mind kick into gear each time. It wants to be busy. It wants to do. Part of the beauty of restorative yoga is training the mind to be still. Finding peace and balance in the body allows your mind to be still. Once again, from my book that I brought today, I'll share another passage. We often forget that sometimes we need to just take time to relax. We are not human doings, we are human beings. And if you think there's no way that you can relax, then you need restorative yoga even more than you know. As with meditation practice, it takes time to train the mind to find quiet. In fact, some people find the practice of restorative yoga to be the most difficult of all yoga practices because it's so hard to be still. Be prepared that when the mind starts to ramble, this is the moment where you need to call upon yourself to find stillness. This is what practicing yoga is all about. We'll stay here a couple of more minutes. Relax your shoulders. Let go of any tension in your back or hips. Let your legs be heavy. And ease yourself into stillness. Let's take 3 more breaths on this side. Next breath in, slide your hands backwards. Inhale, press down into your palms, lift yourself up. And I'll pull myself back around to the front. And we have one more posture. So, finish practice this evening, we're going to create a restorative fish pose that's pretty nice. I'm going to simply take the long bolster this time. I'm going to lay it down the mat. I'm going to get my blanket and with my blanket I'm going to just build a little extra support. So I'm going to take mine something like this. It's probably 4 inches tall. So because I have a nice firm bolster, you're gonna want to make it about half the height of your big bolster. So it just creates a little bit of a slope. Let me show you where we're going with this. So I'm going to sit up on the blanket. And then I'm going to have the bolster coming right into the low back. I'm going to bring my legs all the way down. Option here to take a second blanket in a quarter fold. Bring it all the way over my legs. And then I'm going to tuck that blanket in all the way down to my feet. So the idea with the tucking and the things that we're doing with the blanket is it creates a feeling of security. The body wants to feel secure. When we feel secure, when our mind believes that we are secure, it is free to let go of the gripping and the holding, and it's just kind of magical. So that's one reason I like the blanket around the legs. It really helps with that. Then I'm going to lay all the way down. I'm going to let my chest come right on top of that bolster, and my head is still on top of the support as well. So my head and my chest are roughly the same height. My chest is rising a little bit more, obviously. And then I'm going to bring my arms all the way out into a T, where my shoulders can fall off the edges of the bolster. They're reaching down toward the earth. very open-hearted in this posture. My chest is open, my heart is open, but my body is secure. Come back to your breath. Feel the breath as it moves into your chest, opening and expanding and lifting up. Exhale and relax and release everything down into the earth. Feel the security of your body as we've created these beautiful supports. And let go of any need to hold, any need to engage your muscles in any way. Feel the openness of your heart and your neck and your throat. Breath moving freely, beautifully. Begin to feel the stillness inside, deep inside yourself. Surrender to this stillness. Surrender to the ease. And tap into the beauty of doing less. 5 more breaths here. Final breath. Deeply bring your inhalation into your heart. Feel it rise and lift with newfound positivity and grace. Exhale out all that does not serve. Towards your body. Bring your arms around your chest, wrap them around your chest, reach your fingers back towards your shoulder blades, give yourself a hug. Begin to bend your knees. Help yourself up. Position to close our practice this evening. Together, let's lift our arms up, reach them overhead. Inhale deeply. Exhale, bring that sense of peace and calm in your space right back into your heart. Peace of mind and peace of heart throughout the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Om Shanti and Namaste.